This is sacred share time. What was that like for you? How do you feel now? Brenda, how are you feeling?
Really good. Yeah, it was great.
Amazing.
I was feeling a little stiff this morning, so a lot of that sort of stiffness is gone, which is great.
I love it.
There were different thoughts that were sort of wandering in, but I think the biggest one is I don't need to own it.
Tell me more about that.
Well, a leader, a person of responsibility,
Got it.
oldest daughter, oldest granddaughter,
Got it.
mother, business owner. There's responsibility, right? And so you take it
Yes.
on, even when sometimes people don't even ask for your help, right? You take it on.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a nice little freedom there where it was just like, I don't need to.
I love
And
this.
there's also the toxicity of relationship creep that sometimes goes in there too, where it's like, I don't need to take that on either.
Mm,
Like, you're feeling defensive right now. You're feeling this. I don't need to take that.
yeah. Great. Love the clarity and the freedom
Hmm.
to set it down and be like, whew. The other thing that I find is there comes a grief, a little bit of grief of, oh, I could have done that sooner.
Yeah.
And then I just have to go, yeah, well, now I get to do it now.
Well, I think
I,
that's where your voice, the technique, the music just brings you back, right?
yes, yes, yes. Marissa,
So I was making noise right away before we were even supposed to make noise. So that was fun. There was a lot of sound, lots of guttural sounds, and also going into the rafters, which I didn't expect. I rarely go there. So
nice.
that was silent, screamy, but also the most vulnerable little girl voice.
Hmm, yeah.
It was nice. I felt like all the guttural stuff was like purging, but then it was allowing.
Yeah, the
Because
rafters and the little girl. I love that you get to witness her and make space for her and give her grace and compassion.
yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
It was just really hard for me to even be in it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like everybody here, the entrepreneur spirit, the go-getter, da da da. I don't have children, so I don't have that distraction added to my plate, which a lot of you do, I imagine. So God bless you. I don't deal with that. I have a hard time sitting in silence in general. I'm not a meditator. I'm not a journaler. I function in insanity. I told my husband, I was like, all right, husband, it's just you and little dog. I don't have a million children running around screaming. I just need you to be quiet for 1 hour while I'm doing this thing. And he's like, whatever, I don't get it, but okay. The moment we started Shavasana,
Hmm.
he decided to start vacuuming.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like
Bless
as soon
him
as he
for
started,
vacuuming. Oh my
oh my
God.
God, my husband wakes me up vacuuming at 7 o'clock in the morning. I can't find silence in my own head, and I definitely can't find silence when there's chaos around me. I even wore my shirt, shut up for Shavasana. The whole breath work, my body just wanted to ring. My body just wanted to stretch. My feet
Yeah.
wanted to stretch. It was just like, no, get out of me. Like, stop it. You got things to do.
Yeah, it got really loud.
It got really, really loud.
Yeah.
And it was funny because the louder the music got, the quieter it got.
Interesting. Yeah.
I sighed and had to like my little growls pretty much through the whole thing until we got to the point where you're like, all right, make your primal sound. My body was like, nope,
Don't tell me what to do.
not up. Just lock it down, hold it in, Darius. Don't say anything, and it's like,
Yeah. I love it, Destiny. I
don't
love
really
it. First of all, I love the honesty. I love the t-shirt. I love the fact that your husband's vacuuming during Shavasana. It's all perfect. And, you know, I totally relate to everything you're sharing. I feel like that's so human.
yeah.
And yet you showed up and here you are and you did it. And like, how do you feel now? You look pretty bright, you look pretty sparkly. So, maybe if you do it again, big if, I promise you it's going to be different. It's going
Oh,
to
for
be
sure.
completely different.
For
So
sure. Well,
every single time.
I've been to yoga and I've been to sound healing and sound baths. I've never done a breath, so I didn't really know what to expect. I
It's
mean,
great.
it
Yeah.
wasn't surprising when you're like thinking about a texture you love, and I was like tater tots.
Well,
When
you
did
are
my
a
booty go
chef, so this
there?
does make sense. Yes.
So thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I so relate to everything you shared. That feeling of, I don't want to be in my body right now. This is just
Yeah.
so uncomfortable. It's just like, ugh. And being witness to that is so fascinating because then we get to go like, oh, wow, look what's here that I've been ignoring. Look what's here that's ready for me. Maybe you're a person that isn't going to do breath work laying down. Maybe you're a person who's going to get the catharsis through movement.
Hmm.
There's that too, but I'm just happy that you showed up. Really, truly. That just makes me so happy that you let yourself have whatever experience you were going to have.
Hi, Siri. I've
Hi,
missed you.
Dana.
Oh. I've been so busy. I haven't been able to gift myself any time to receive, so that was so needed. Every time I do breath work with you, I just feel so held by my ancestors. It always happens, the primal sounding song. And
Hmm.
I just was so many tears and felt so held and out of my body. And I really needed that. I really needed that. So thank you. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
so welcome. And bless your ancestors for showing up.
I know, every time.
I love this. Awesome. It's so good to have you here.
This was, I think, my third time. It was different for me this time. I thought it would be similar. This time I went upstairs to my bedroom and I held back a little bit because I thought, I know Siri, she's going to make me cry. She does it every time. I've got the makeup on. So there was a little bit of that. But then I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let it go. And the makeup ran anyway. But this time it was a little bit calmer for me. I felt more controlled, but not in a controlling way. I just felt really comfortable with what I was feeling, and I was way more relaxed. And at one point, my body just wanted to turn in a fetal position. I was like, "You're not
Yeah.
supposed to do that," but I thought, "Screw it, I'm going to do it," and I
Oh,
did
yeah.
it.
Go for it.
And because you kept saying, "Make this your own," I really enjoyed it. It was a different feeling than before, but it felt like I've released a lot. I think just from the times that I have done this with you, definitely felt the ancestral thing as well. But again, I was holding back. I was like, I don't want to do the cry thing. I loved it. I'm very relaxed.
I love you. Okay, the thing that I'm laughing at, well, obviously, because you're just funny, but one of the pieces that I'm laughing at is, as the actors in this room know, is the first thing you do when you want to cry is tell yourself not to cry or not to laugh. Don't laugh, right? So cute.
Yep.
I love it. Well,
Thank you.
I'm so glad that it was exactly what it needed to be for you. And I love
Yes.
having you here. And thank you for showing up and doing the work and going in your bed. Oh, I love it. I love breath work in bed. That's my favorite.
Hey Siri, thank you for creating this space. It was really needed. And I noticed myself, I did the primal noises and then I didn't realize I had
Nice.
done it early until we got to that part, but I just needed to. It was like all in my throat,
Yeah.
just letting that out. It was just nice to just have this space to immediately return to.
Mm.
Thank you for creating the space.
You're so welcome.
I had a bit of a pet emergency in the middle of the whole thing. So it was like choking and extra drugs and all that stuff. So
Oh no.
she's got
Oh
congestive
my
heart
God. Is she
failure. So
okay?
she's okay. She just needs extra things sometimes when she
Oh,
can't get
bless.
the
Oh my
liquid out of her.
God. It's so fascinating to look at the microcosm of, look at what we did. We carved out an hour and some of us couldn't even get that. You know, it's like, damn, look at our life. So bless our hearts that we're still showing up, even in the face of all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hold it all
Yeah.
together.
We're needed. Yeah, and it is interesting what does specifically come up when we try to give ourselves time. It's very interesting.
When we were going to get up at one point, I definitely wanted to get up, but I was so cozy in my blanket that I was like, oh, I want to get up, but I love this blanket right now. I don't really want to shed it. And so I got up with the blanket and I swayed and weirdly danced around. And then the next song came on and my blood was pumping. It was very symbolic as well. And then all
Mm.
of a sudden I was like, yeah. And I had this blanket. At one point it was like butterfly wings because I was
Yeah.
dancing with it. They're butterfly wings. And then I went boom and it fell to the floor in this very dramatic way. And I was like, yeah. I was like owning this
Yeah.
cocoon into butterfly transition.
Mm. It's like interpretive dance. You really, embodied that whole transformation of we started slow, we're in our cocoon, our safety net, and then you're like, this is the bigger version of me. I love that so much. That's beautiful.
And I realized that out my window there,
Mm.
clear shot of like the neighbor's front door. And I was like, if they came out right now and they saw, I mean, like,
Like crazy
like
butterfly lady.
crazy butterfly lady is just going to town over there. And then the yard workers were
Oh, uh-huh.
around. And so I just like dramatically looked and I think we got eye contact.
Ah,
Whatever. Like, just
you
own it.
probably made their day. I
Yeah,
love
because I
it.
was like, what is that person gonna think? Like, hell yeah, right?
Yeah,
I don't care.
interesting that you say that because that is definitely a theme that it's come up for me personally and for this panel. I'm on day 2 of my moon with the moon here. I said to my husband during the Shavasana, I had to run and do my thing in the bathroom. He was out there. I said, you know what's so great about being on my period and being in perimenopause? I don't fucking care. I'm like, I have less fucks to give right now. And I'm not used to that feeling,
Yeah.
Marissa. You know, that whole movement of less fucks and all zero fucks. I am not that person. I'm like, I care too much.
Yeah.
So to feel that today was really liberating. So that I feel like was a co-creation in the room with you ladies. So thank you guys for that. Okay, let's get started. Welcome back to the Authentic Creative. Thank you for being on the ride. If you've been listening to other panels, this one's going to be totally different. So buckle up because we're going to share the truth. We're gathering in a really precise moment today. The spring equinox just happened this morning, 7:46 a.m. Pacific. So we're now like almost 11 a.m. Pacific. So we're sitting here in the very first hours of the new season. And this is really the new year for people that are observing the lunar. And so the equinox marks the point when the sun crosses the equator and has been long understood as a moment of balance, a threshold of turning. So light is returning, the days are lengthening, something begins to move again. What feels meaningful to me is that spring does not need to arrive as pressure for us as women. It can arrive as permission. Ah, yes. The earth begins to open in its own timing, blossoming. We're blossoming. We're being the butterflies that we are. The seeds don't have to force their way upward before the conditions are ready. There's an intelligence, as we all know, in nature. And we are nature. And so I think many of us, especially as women moving through changing seasons in our bodies, changing seasons in our lives, are being asked to trust that same intelligence in ourselves, to listen. So as we begin this conversation on our panel today about unconditional love, the art of receiving, the thaw coming into spring on what it means to come out of wintering, and that's specific to certain areas of the world, of course. Other areas, they're not doing that, but we are here. I think most of us, all of us here. I want to honor that we're not speaking from theory, we're speaking from body, we're speaking from our lived experience, from our truth, from the wisdom that comes when life asks us to listen closely to timing and to energy and to truth and what is actually ready to bloom in our lives and in the way that we serve. So I have a little poem. I'm going to read this poem. There's a pace that is honest. We have been learning it through our own bodies, through fatigue, through the quiet signals we used to move past, through the clarity that comes when we actually listen. This season meets us there. The trees don't rush their blossoms. The ground opens and it's ready. And something in us recognizes that a different kind of growth, one that comes from being in relationship with timing, with energy, and with what is real. So we may find ourselves choosing differently, maybe smaller rooms, maybe smaller conversations, more real conversations, time that feels like it returns to something. We are learning what it means to come out of winter without abandoning ourselves in the process through that transition, to grow at a pace that one can stay with. And there's something here that feels like love, steady and honoring and alive. Just know that you're in a room full of really freaking incredible women, like high level women that are awesome. Teresa, I want to ask you to, yeah, to share. So unconditional love, what does that mean for you? Let's start there. What does that mean for you?
right for the jugular she goes, because that's the spot that is so alive for me right now. My gosh. The light and the dark of it, right? The equinox, the equality of the shadow and the light is for us, I think, as I'm sure I lived a life as a man, but I think the majority of them feel like they're female to me. And it's so modern life like really rewards consistency.
Mm.
But we are built and designed for cycles.
Hmm.
And the acceptance of that and the receiving. I love you.
I pulled this card, Teresa. Sorry to interrupt you, but I pulled this card at the end of Shavasana and it says cycles and rhythms. Please keep going.
Yeah, right. And our body, our intelligence thrives on that. But there's a theme already that I'm seeing in the conversation where we're like, we hold so much. We hold everything for everyone. Like we are givers, and receiving is really difficult. And sometimes in the receiving, I feel a judgment like, oh, there's a lacking in me that I have to ask for something, and asking is difficult. And in this moment, that unconditional love that you talk about, it's a practice for me to have to keep reminding this too is me. This is who I am. This is the beauty of my learning. This is the beauty of my authenticity, being able to be real in whatever moment that I'm in. Because I wrote this down actually. Like spring is not about asking us to become someone new, right? It's asking us to stop resisting who we already are, and then having the courage to receive the life that matches her.
You just wrote that? Or when that came through you?
Yeah, yesterday I was
Damn,
like, what is this topic? I don't
this
know.
is
And
great.
it's so alive for me right now.
Yeah.
And we are all in so much transition. I'm moving countries. I'm in menopause. The world that we're living in is so, and women are the holders. We are, but we give, that we send ourselves off our polarity sometimes. And we're like, whoa, 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 but I'm supposed to be here with my flag in the ground. And you come to me and I hold you like Gaia. And that's a responsibility. And it's difficult and it's such work, and there's so much love and unconditional love for self in that moment. That resistance is part of it, but if we can soften into it, I'm speaking to us and I'm talking really hard to me. Like, that constant reminder that it's all right and everything that I am is enough, and my immortal authority is to be enough. Sadhguru would always say that. And
Beautiful. Beautiful, Teresa. Marissa.
Yes, I loved all of that. This transition that we're in right now, it's about taking inventory of what we contracted because we're about to bloom. So, looking inward to what is inside that no longer serves. I loved that waterfall metaphor that you brought in during the meditation of big, powerful waterfall sucking out all the things that don't serve, all the things that aren't aligned. I thought that was super powerful. And I just loved that visual. And it was very potent for me because unconditional love, sometimes we unknowingly place conditions on it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the conditions are things like, well, in the past, I felt fear around this, that, or the other thing, and I can't let go of it now.
Yeah.
Right. And it sort of clogs up that heart space of giving fully and
Mm.
receiving fully.
So true.
So that waterfall metaphor of just sucking out those things, those fears, really, it's the fears of what's going to happen to me if I open up that much, if I allow myself to bloom that much as myself. What if, what if, what if, what if? And all of those fears rush to fill the space.
Yes.
Well, now, thanks to you, I'm going to think about that waterfall, sucking those fears right out into that powerful overflow below us where it doesn't serve us anymore and we don't need it. And that's the setting of the switching of the seasons, right? The shedding of that so that we can bloom. And the bloom might be tiny right now, right? All blooms are when they start. That's the beautiful thing about spring, right? It's like you see a totally naked tree, just sticks, and then you see the tiny little buds. And there's something so hopeful about that. And we know it's going to bloom. We know it's going to become something into summer. But right now, it's this tiny little bit of potential that we don't even know what it's going to be. We don't know what it's going to bring. And there's so much excitement in that. And so, yeah, shedding
Yes.
so that the blooms
Mm.
can expand.
Okay, so here's the other card I pulled. There's two cards I pulled during Shavasana. Here's the other one. And it says, it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're in such union
Mm.
with this topic. I'm just in awe of the wisdom that you each hold, we hold as women. That's really incredible. It's medicine to me to hear each of you speak about this and to our listeners. It really is. So thank you.
Marisa, what you just shared about the bloom, and Teresa, number one, my favorite thing to do right now is to laugh out loud while tears of grief are pouring down my face. This is my new daily exercise. And speaking of spring and bloom and the darkness and the light all at once, and I have to say, just looking around this room, I feel like I'm part of a bouquet of flowers.
Ah,
I literally, and hearing what you shared. First of all, Destiny, I just have to say, like you said, I don't have kids, so I don't have. You're a chef. Let me just tell you, in my world, I don't know how to do that. That's like rocket science for me. So I use my oven as extra shoe space because it makes a great shoe rack. So when you say there's nothing to downplay about that, you've got your hands full. What you shared, Marisa, about this bloom, something else is going on about that for me. I'm walking outside and I'm looking around, and it's still winter. I'm right now in Washington, D.C. And yes, I'm seeing the sticks and the wood, and I can see sunlight. I'm already seeing right now, and I laugh out loud with delight and wonder. Like, even as I'm seeing the cold, bare sticks and it's 15 degrees outside, there's a smile on my face because I've overlaid this gobsmacking, take your breath away. This is all going to be transformed into like a tropical, green, verdant, flowing jungle in like not too long of a time. And so there's a trusting of that. And even more than a trust, I can feel this with the seasons. I have a knowing that not only am I looking out and it looks like the dead of winter, but there's a knowing in my bones and in my DNA that it is going to be so beautiful. I will be weeping in awe and ecstasy that there is such a thing in this God-given universe. I also have to say, Siri, during the breath work, when you said, come as you are, this might be the way. So I all of a sudden was requested from the universe to put an audition on tape to play Lady Capulet of Romeo and Juliet. Okay.
yes.
So I put on like fake jewelry. I literally grabbed something from the attic and I went to where my mom was. This was given to me. We're talking about the ancestors today. This was given to me by my great great grandmother, born in 1897. And I'm thinking to myself, Lady Capulet, that was a time, and in her time, they're doing it the Gilded Age, when women were like flowers and would adorn themselves. I don't wear any of this stuff. I dug this up and I went up to my mom and I was like, Mom, is this thing real? Because my great great grandmother outlived 5 husbands, not because she poisoned them, but because she just was a force of nature and they all went before her. So anyway, I'm going to wear this for the audition. But when you said come as you are, I laughed out loud, Siri, because I'm like dolled up and I put on all this makeup. I don't usually show up in diamonds and right, all this stuff. But then I thought, wait a second, we're all flowers.
Yeah.
This might be, Marisa, you know, because you're a world-class ballroom dancer. You should see Marisa's Instagram, world-class ballroom dance. You know, you're always adorning yourself and sparkle. It's so good I'm an actor because I get to live many, many lives, right? But it took being called forth to play Lady Capulet, this queen, to start to adorn myself. And then I was like, well, Siri said, this might be your natural state. And I was like, maybe it is. Maybe I can step into this equinox, this bloom, like one with it. You talked about the oneness, and that I don't have to separate myself from the natural world, that we are the flowers. We're the flowers. And so, toward that end, I haven't even looked at the script yet. I literally, through the breath work, I was like, I'm just going to start to doll up. We know Romeo and Juliet. We know what happens. Doesn't end well. But all I've been paying attention to is what I'm enjoying about being a flower in the spring equinox. So thank you for presencing us to that and the oneness that we are without, and the darkness and the light and the beauty of all of it. Namaste. I love and honor you, flowers.
You guys, this is what Robin's text messages sound like when she voice messages me. I swear to God, every single one. Like this is just who she is. She's just like this alive Robin Williams, Dead Poet Society soul. And she knocks us alive. So thank you. Because most of us are living half a life. So
Yeah, and
thank you for living a whole life.
Well, and thank you for providing a space. This is so rare. Siri, who else on the planet is doing this? No one. That you provide a
I don't
space,
know.
place for this is remarkable. It's remarkable. No one else is doing it. Please never, ever stop. We get to not only hear our own souls speak authentically, but the souls of the people that are surrounding us and that we are one with. Thank you. God bless you forever and always for nurturing that and stewarding that and providing that. You are the source of all of this aliveness of life. 1000%. Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you for seeing me. Yeah, I need that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I receive.
My flower. Yes, my flower. By the way, just so you know, there's a bouquet of flowers coming out of this giraffe's ass. No one's ever said that before. It's my birthday coming up, and a dear friend of mine sent me some flowers, and I stuck it in the giraffe's butt. And no one's ever said those words in that order before. I don't think so.
Nope.
But
no, that's an original.
There it is. There it is. Okay.
That's an original. Brenda, I'm coming to you. Talking about the art of receiving, the struggle of that, the ease of that, the journey of that. Earlier, you were talking about responsibility, being the eldest child. I totally get that. The art of receiving, what is that about for you in this moment in time?
It's always there, but I think for me, it's clouded by me taking responsibility. So people will be like, hey, if you want to come and hang out, I would even use you as an example. Been to one of your retreats, come to another one, or girlfriends will extend, come and stay with me. Yeah, okay, great. I'll take you up on that. And then I don't, right? So it's just like, because I can take responsibility myself. I can hold it together.
Yeah.
I was actually, just as a side note, I was working with a therapist over the last couple of months, and my parents had me when they were really young, went through a really bad divorce, all that sort of stuff. And one of the things that they said to me is you had to become an adult way too early. I remember the sadness and the frustration and the heartache and stuff like that of my parents arguing at the age of 4, but probably around the age of 8 is when I decided to become an adult. I just had to take on that role.
Yeah.
And because they couldn't manage the relationships.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. And so there's this book that I'm reading all about it right now, but of this other therapist that has talked about it and how we take on these identities for our parents.
Being the parentified child.
Yeah, the parentified child. Because of that, not having the opportunity to receive. And not that I didn't have things given to me and birthdays and all those things as a kid. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a good family environment that way. Like I was appreciated as a child, but I wasn't appreciated for the fact that I had to be an adult at the age of 8 and manage my parents because they couldn't manage each other. And even to this day, they're in their 70s and 80s and they still can't manage each other. And I'm like, I don't want to manage you guys anymore. I'm 56. Like, grow up.
Yeah.
I've had to grow up a lot earlier than I wanted to.
Yeah.
And even when I look back on, say, like friends going off and doing things like backpacking around Europe after university, I was like, no, I have to get the job. Da, da, da. So pushing away the receiving of joy, love, expression, possibility, because I had to take responsibility.
It reminds me of the Adele song Easy
Yeah.
on Me.
Hmm.
It's just like I was just a child. I didn't
Yeah.
have the time. I love playing that song during breath work because it's like,
Yeah.
because I think there's some piece of every child, whether it was a moment or years of their life, that feels like they didn't get what they needed. They couldn't, we couldn't receive, and having to be responsible, being the oldest.
Hmm.
And we're wired that way, but because of neuroplasticity, we know
Hmm.
that we can change and how beautiful. And one of the ways that we
Mm.
can change is through the breath work.
Right.
And we can rewire ourselves and we can reparent ourselves and we can get together and talk about it. And I think that's one of, like Robin was saying, that's one of the biggest pieces of medicine is when we do this. And because you host tons of gatherings with women
Hmm.
all the time. So it's like when we talk like this, I think we don't have to fix it, but just talking and sharing and just being like, me too,
Yes.
right?
And also at 56, I can choose to be a child again.
Yeah.
And like being a child doesn't mean being irresponsible. It doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean putting yourself in harm's way unless you
Yeah.
are walking out in front of a street without looking both ways. But
Yeah.
I do have knowledge, I do have skills and abilities. I'm not going to like throw myself into like a reckless, dangerous situation.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I get to play now. My kids are out of the house. I don't have a husband I have to clean up after. There's beautiful things where I'm like, I have full permission to go play and be a child again.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's great. I just started making time for girlfriends for coffee dates in the morning for the
Hmm.
first time in a real long time. And that in-person one-on-one connection, I'm calling it play dates. I said to my husband, I'm like, so I've got 3 play dates next week. And I would never have said that before. I'd be like, so it's a meeting and we're going to talk business.
But it's like a play date. Yeah, in 2 weeks, I'm going to Sarasota to visit my friend who I met in first year university. We've been friends for 38 years. We're going to hang out together. And then in May, I'm going to Toronto to visit 2 other roommates that I had in first year university that we've known for 38 years.
Oh,
In June, I'm going to Belgium to hang out
ugh,
with a friend that said, just come to our family cottage. Like, we're just going to be up there for a couple of weeks and just come and hang out with us. And I'm like, okay.
I
And she's
love
been
it.
asking for like 2, 3 years. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, when the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm being a kid this year. I'm just going to go
Mm.
play.
And as we know through all the work we do with money and abundance, like that's when it all comes in,
Yeah.
is when we're playing and having
Mhm.
fun and seeing our friends. I love this.
Siri,
Yes, Tracy, please. Yeah.
I would love to piggyback on what Brenda just said because my theme for this year is I'm bringing selfish back. Yeah, like Justin Timberlake, I'm bringing it back. So with what Brenda said is exactly what I'm trying to do is empower women to choose themselves, prioritize themselves. I'm done with this selfless version of when you're a great mom, you're selfless. You put everyone's needs before you to be a great wife or a friend I'm done with that.
Yeah,
And
the
when I was
martyr
thinking,
role, it's like, please.
totally. It doesn't make sense. But when I think about your theme, the spring equinox, when I was out this morning, I'm in the Midwest, so it's literally just starting to thaw. And you're seeing the first little buds and the first little sprouts, and it's beautiful. And I was standing there and I was looking at them, getting so excited. And it almost looks like it happened overnight. Yesterday, everything was dead, and today, all of a sudden, there's
Yes.
life. But I thought about it and thought, no, they have been giving themselves what they need, nature, Mother Earth, Gaia. She knew that she needed to go dormant, that she needed to give to herself so that when this timing, her own rhythm says it's time to reemerge, she can do it so beautifully. And I thought, it's interesting because when spring comes to life, they're not coming up and comparing themselves to others. They're not asking, am I doing too much? Do I need to shrink? None of that. It would be so ridiculous to think of nature doing that.
Hmm.
And when they come into full bloom, we all benefit from it. We all benefit from it. The more they bloom, the more they show up, the more space they take up, the more we benefit. And then I thought about women.
Mm.
We don't always allow ourselves that same grace.
Yeah.
We don't always allow to say, think about spring saying, well, I feel like I need a little bit more time, but that's kind of selfish. I should probably come up a little early. That would
Yeah.
be ridiculous. They go with their own timing. And so I love this idea of women doing the same. We would never, bloom, blossom, and don't worry. The more you blossom and the more you bloom, the more that others give from that space, that is going to make you a better mom. That is going to make you a
Yes.
better wife, a better employee, a better everything. When you are healed and full and coming from that place, everyone benefits.
And you
So,
see it in real time. You see it when your cup is not full.
ah,
You see how you act around your people, and you're like,
yep,
this isn't my best self. I'm not
not
helping
pretty.
anyone.
It's not pretty.
Yeah. And or when we go get a massage or we come do this, we go on a retreat, whatever it is, we come back and we're completely elevated and everyone benefits. It's like, ooh,
Everyone
you look like
benefits.
a new person. And the whole energy, the infusion of the house is like, ooh, we're all relaxed, we're happy, mama's happy. Yeah.
Exactly. When mama's happy, everyone's happy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. Dana, you look like you're
Yeah.
want to share.
Yeah, just
You
like
just went to Australia for a retreat
I
to
know.
facilitate a retreat.
Yes, yes. And just like Tracy said, this contraction and contraction and expansion cycle, and learning that from nature. And right now, we're just starting this expansion cycle. And if we didn't complete the contraction and we just stay in the contraction, then there's no expansion, right? But in that contraction and allowing ourselves to winter and allowing ourselves to take care of ourselves and have that time to go inward and to listen and tune in, then we can expand and be that full bloom flower that we're supposed to be. And I think that that's that we're all feeling this turn in this change. There's so much change inward and outward with all the women that I'm in conversation with.
Hmm.
There's so much change. I feel everybody's going through moves and job transitions, and the world is just changing and then inwardly changing their perspective. This contraction expansion allowance, we're just being like a plastic bag blowing in the wind and not taking responsibility of our lives. Siri, in your breath work this morning, when you're like, you're an infinite being in this body, we're talking about what is unconditional love.
Hmm.
And my view of unconditional love is total neutrality and curiosity for everything. And so, what if I, being an infinite being of love, peace, and joy, created all of this so that when I wake up to it and see it, I can love all of that, the dark and the light, and see it as an opportunity to expand into more and come to every single hellish challenge
Hmm.
opportunity as an opportunity to expand, even though that's really hard and it's a practice. But come to all of these things as an opportunity to expand and come to the joy and peace and allow myself to receive those as well as an opportunity to expand. We're just in such a beautiful moment of this little tiny buds, and we hope that we've given ourselves that time to contract so that we can expand and fully blossom. And I really think we are. I think that we're in this divine feminine moment where people are seeing us and we can adorn ourselves and be celebrated. And if we allow that to happen, if we adorn ourselves and we allow ourselves to be celebrated and stop comparing ourselves to all the other blossoming beauties and just come into full blossom ourselves, then everyone will feel that frequency and will do the same.
Okay, so much of everything you said, I'm closing my eyes, I'm taking it, I'm soaking it, and I'm like, breathing it in. But the one thing I just want to say before I forget is the piece about if we decide, if we take the time, if we adorn ourselves, and it's like no one is coming to save us. No one is coming to make you do the thing that's going to feel good for you. We have to decide. So, yes.
Get to. We get to.
We get to. Thank you. Yes, we get to. We get to decide.
Blessed. We're
We
blessed to.
get to.
Maybe an up level from that. We're blessed to.
We're blessed to decide. Love it. Yeah, we're upcycling that. Ah, Dr. Alicia Newsom.
Hey. So, what's coming up for me is someone had spoken, they live in DC. So, their experience of wintertime is very different than mine. I live in Arizona, it's the desert.
Okay. Hmm.
And when I look out my window right now, there's flowers bloomed everywhere, blue skies, all of those things. So it made me realize that at different times in our lives, we're going through different seasons, like larger seasons, where maybe winter is longer for us than what we really want it to be. We're like ready to get in the spring, but there's things that need to die off. There's things that we need to release. And there's other seasons of our lives where that winter time might be a little shorter. We still have winter here a little bit, but for us to trust the process and that season that we're in. And when I think about flowers blooming, there's never a time that they're hustling and grinding. They're always in this receiving mode. That bud stage happens in darkness before we see all of that. But then they begin to bloom and then they're receiving sunlight and water and nutrients. It's all receiving. And then they're still even removing where we've got to deal with weeds. So it's a pruning. I don't know a better word for that.
Yeah, letting go, releasing, like
Yes,
letting it die
releasing.
off, like you said.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
shedding.
we are constantly as women, we are giving, 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 and then we find ourselves completely depleted, but we were never even created in nature to just always be pouring out in that way. When we step into our feminine energy and we're really receiving, everything else falls into place because we're in alignment.
Yes, perfectly said. Truth. Thank you. Destiny.
Back to the root, how do you perceive or receive? And
Hmm.
honestly, that question makes me want to vomit.
Just the purging, the letting go.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, I love myself the least. I love
Mm,
everybody else more.
yeah.
I think Brenda and I probably have a somewhat similar upbringing from what I've gleaned from your talk. Very dysfunctional. I was literally the redheaded stepchild. I had red hair and was just, yeah, hated. They just fucking hated me. My constant thing in therapy is, well, you need to learn how to love yourself. I've been told my whole life that I'm unlovable. So how do you get over that? And,
Yeah.
here I am 46 years old. I was like, oh, well, when I have children, then I'll know what it's like to feel love. Well, then I'm infertile. Okay, cool. Joke's on me, right? So well, then I got married, and that'll like show me, what true love is, like what it's like to receive love. And like, granted, my husband's fucking amazing, but he's extremely independent and he's a surfer. If I'm sitting around waiting on him to make myself feel loved, it's gonna be a long fucking road. It's not for a lack of him not loving me. He does love me, but that's not his vibe. It's been interesting getting into perimenopause. I had a hysterectomy a year ago. And so the hormonal element of it,
Hmm.
and it's like, okay, what is that? When is that feeling going to arrive? And it's just not here yet. So for me, I cook.
Yeah.
I'm in the wine industry. So seeing the seasonality change in the vineyard is awesome to me. I just moved to a little town on the Oregon. It's called Nehalem. Beautiful. The Nehalem Valley right now, it's just green and lush, and the daffodils are everywhere, and all of my trees are blooming, and I've got stinging nettles coming up, which means I get to make nettle pesto, which makes me really happy.
Mm,
So, yeah, how do I receive love? I guess I receive it through food and through
mm,
wine
mm.
and through community.
Yeah, and
Um,
one thing I have to say about you to reflect back to Destiny is without even knowing you that well, is just seeing your giving, the way you nurture, the way you shine, the way you glow, the way you show up, the way you create special moments for others, the way you show up if you're making drinks for people is such a open-hearted energy such a joyful energy. And we cannot, just like with perfume, I'm sure you guys have heard this metaphor before, but if I spray the perfume, I'm going to get it on myself. I think you are receiving through giving, which is okay too. And not only is it okay, it's a miracle. It's a miracle to receive the benefit of the joy of people's faces when they feel nurtured by you.
Mhm.
That is psychologically and chemically one of the greatest joys for us when we see someone happy because something good is happening for them. That's one of the greatest chemical concoctions.
Well, yeah, the energy, right? We're
Yeah.
all energy. The world is energy,
Yeah.
right? And so if you create the energy around you that you want to receive,
Yeah.
right, it helps you to be able to receive that. I do a
Yeah.
lot of weddings. My motto in life is to cultivate nostalgia, right? I love nostalgic moments. I love it when I have a client that I cooked dinner for a number of years ago and they come back and they're like, oh my God, every single time I have that blah, blah, blah. Sometimes we have blinders on, right? And we think we know what we're into. And for me, it's in food and wine. Those are my specialties. Those are things that I know. And I love pushing people out of their comfort zones. I love turning them on to things that they would never have tried before. And I love creating that clip in their memory that they're never going to ever let go of. And every single time they relive that experience, they think of me.
You're
And that's the
changing their
way,
life. You're
yeah, that's the
changing
way
their
I
life.
receive love, I
And
guess. That's,
and
yeah.
Destiny, you're healing yourself, your inner child. Every time you're doing that for someone, you're healing. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Okay,
Oh my God,
Robin,
that's
yeah.
I feel so like Destiny, you read my diary. I don't know how you got a hold of it. But until very recently, the act that I was living is that I was disgusting and the world was against me.
Mm,
I'm a little older than you, in my latest possible almost 40s. And it wasn't until recently, and I only have the awareness now, like you, someone that is able to pour love into the world and toward other people. But what I discovered is you can't give anything that you don't have. You can't give anything that you don't actually have. And over time, there was this sort of unraveling of this act that I was playing of a disgusting, unlovable person who the world was not just didn't like, they were actively against me. And that started to dismantle as I started to, through Siri, your work and the work we do in these modalities and these healing rooms, expand my capacity to actually feel the thing that was in me already. You wouldn't have noticed a big difference in my personality when I was running in the background. I'm disgusting and the world is against me. You actually wouldn't have noticed a big difference in my personality because la, 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 right? However, right, the experience of being alive is so utterly transformed in this blooming, expanding, opening to the possibility that, wow, I wouldn't be able to give all that love through food, wine, sensory, deliciousness, nostalgia. I wouldn't be able to give it if I didn't have it to give. So that knowing was undeniable. And then also through this work, through being in rooms like this with flowers like you and other ways and means and connecting with people that we're drawn to further this opening and healing, my experience of life has been totally transformed. Living a life trying to not be found out as disgusting and unlovable and owning. It's like what spring does. Spring just owns how gorgeous it is. It's like, here I am. Look at me showing off. Like, God, look at me showing off. Look at these flowers coming out of the, like, what? The smells, By the way, I love that Tracy, your cat is so drawn to you. That's such a gorgeous, irrefutable that like lion kings, right? The cats are the kings of the jungle, and your cat's just like, I want to be around my queen. I want to be around my queen, Tracy. Anyway, what you're sharing, I so relate to, and I have found that it is through these kinds of conversations that bring light and shed light onto what we're dealing with as humankind in these biological bodies that has really been a difference that makes all the difference. So I hope to be in more rooms with you, Destiny, and everybody.
Well, thank
Like,
you. Yeah, and I think a lot of us probably feel alone, right? We don't realize like
Yeah.
how not alone we are.
Right. I
That,
know.
that a lot of people have our same shared experiences, but we do tend to live inside of our own minds and inside of our own insecurities and almost demonize ourselves, right? We isolate ourselves within our own being.
Yeah.
And I guess it's almost to like justify,
Mhm.
right? It's like, well, if I say it out loud, right? Like, as long as I keep it within me, then I can be that. I can hide behind that. I can
Mm,
hide behind my imposter syndrome. I can hide, I don't have to show up, right? I can
yeah.
live in my insecurities and not necessarily be beholden to myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at, is trying to like get the fuck over yourself, move on. You're not alone. There's other people here that feel just the same way that you are. And having conversations. I have a podcast called Broadminded, and it's literally just my girlfriend and I sitting and bitching about life and talking about things. And I think a lot of it has been very empowering getting it out,
Yeah.
right? And like when I see that person, I bump into someone at the grocery store and they're like, oh my God, the zero fuxotosin. I had no idea. I didn't know what that meant, you know? And it's like, what are you talking about? They're like, on your podcast. I'm like, oh God, you listened. I don't promote my podcast because I almost am like afraid of actually making a difference or being heard. That element of it, I still have that insecurity of imposter syndrome and the inability to be loved and just sit there and shut up. I'm from South Florida. I grew up in a very seen, not heard. You sit in silence, you hang out with the grown-ups. Yeah, your opinion doesn't matter until I was in my 30s and found my voice. Robin, I think you're amazing. I love your animation. I wish I had the balls to be an actress.
Likewise,
Um,
you are one. You're an actor and you're a good one already. All acting is developing a voice so that when you have something to say, you can share it with people where it will make a difference. That's all acting is. It's developing a voice so that when something comes along that you want to talk about, you have some skills to be able to talk about it through storytelling. So
yeah.
you are, and a wonderful actor at that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
come to class. Just hang out in an acting class. We're having a blast. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Teresa.
I love this conversation. It's so lovely to be in with the women. Like, I've listened to your podcast. Women sitting down and talking, I'm good, I'm in. And I want to riff on what you were talking about being alone, feeling alone. And for me, it has a direct correlation to the concept of receiving, and directly what we're talking about, holding it all together. I had a very simple and very profound experience at UPS the other day. I walked in behind a woman, late 60s, early 70s, forgive me if I'm wrong, laden in boxes, holding a broken handled bag with one finger and all these other things. And I walked up just with my, Nespresso coffee to return. And I stood behind her for a bit and I was like, can I help you hold something? And she went, no, 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 I've got it. I've got it. And I was like, not only was I realizing that I am also her in many moments, but what a missed opportunity is, not just for humanity, but for womankind and here's the offer. Here's, if you're listening and this lands for you, here's the offer, which is also a big reminder for me, but here's what we're missing. That you not only really honor the intuition of someone to want to be there in support of you, you honor them for their kindness and their, awareness, but you also soften all the aloneness that you have about, I've got it, it's okay, I'm not going to put you out to help me. Like that softening and that receiving changes the experience of being alone. It changes the experience of you being feeling like the world is against you actively, right? Thank you, Robin. But there's a chance there. And also asking to receive. Don't be afraid to go, even though I can reach it, can you get that for me? Actively asking to receive as a queen the things that you deserve, but also not missing the opportunities to go, I would love that. And then you open to humanity to be like, how are you? So lovely. Like we are missing things when we feel like we have to be the ones to hold it all together. If that lands in you, I offer that to you as an invitation to every moment breathe and go, yes, please, thank you.
That
I
is such a
receive.
perfect story to crystallize. To practicing that, yes. And I have a very similar experience just last night. A woman at the end of breathwork class, she wanted to help me with put the candles away. And I caught myself wanting to say no. And then I was like, wait, she wants to help. Let her help. So I was like, yeah, sure. And she just wanted to chat and be a part of it. So, and then I was like, fucking receive the help. Yes. Marissa, you guys don't have to raise your hands, just unmute. We're having a party. We've got 20 minutes. And if you need to go, you can go.
So what I'm hearing sort of a theme emerging, and I definitely raise my hand with this is, when we're talking about receiving love, there's this underlying something underneath it all where it's like, do I deserve that? Am I worthy of that? And, for whatever reason, it could be tied to different things. For me, it was achievement. If I tied achievement to worthiness. So I was always chasing achievement, right? I was always looking to like achieve, and then I would be worthy
Yes.
of love, right? Unconditional love. What's that, right? When I was in that headspace, I went on a long journey to discover my own worthiness. And it was terrifying because when you take away all the accolades and all the things, like what's left? Who are you? And even just the idea of just sitting there and you could still be worthy of love was mind blowing to me. And every time, I would take a day off and like binge a show on Netflix and just like feel like a blob on the couch all day. And there would be shaming involved, right? There's like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this? You have so many things you need to be doing. You have to be doing. People are counting on you, blah, 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 blah. But you want to watch Night Agent all 3 seasons, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And now I lay on the couch and I'm like, no, I am worthy just sitting here enjoying this show because this is how my feminine is resting right now. I am able to be taken on this story and it's invigorating me in a restful way. And a lot of times, and I feel like women in general, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us, not tied to gender.
Yeah.
And this idea of masculine energy is holding this space. And we talk about holding this space all the time, right? We're holding for other people, for the family, for the kids, if we employ people, whatever, we're holding it, holding it, holding it. And it gets heavy,
Yeah.
right? And for the masculine to be able to rest, it needs to just not be needed. That's all. Right? It just needs to not be needed. And so when I was going on my worthy journey and I kept coming across like self-love, right? And I just like couldn't, I was like, I don't know, there was a wall up. Self-love that feels too, right? I'm not going to go for that. I don't know.
It's very abstract.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
abstract. And this idea of self-care feels indulgent, too indulgent. How can I, every once in a while I'll get a massage and that's what I deserve. Right? Because I worked this hard and now I get to rest once. Or I don't get to rest until I'm so sick that now I have
Yep.
to rest. And also thank God I got sick. God, I'm so tired. Right? And then you feel pain being sick just so you get the opportunity to rest.
Yeah.
In this worthy journey for me, it was like learning the balancing of these masculine and feminine energies was really helpful for me. And maybe it will be for listeners out there. But it was like, okay, if I'm so heavy in my masculine of doing, going, being, achieving, where is my feminine? Like where am I receiving? Where am I expressing?
Yeah.
Where, and in my line of work, I'm an actress, I'm a director, I dance, like I get to create every day, but it was tied to so much masculine energy that it was hard to be able to just have it be free and not attached to a metric.
Yeah.
So
And then how do you even enjoy
exactly.
what you've accomplished? You don't know how because that wiring just goes, okay, next. What's next?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't enjoy any of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I went on a whole, what you guys were talking about earlier, taking those coffee meetings in the mornings. I was burning out big time. And I was like, screw this. I'm just going to take lunches and like dip out and like go for lunches with my friends like all day, like every day for like 6 months. I did not every day,
Nice.
as much as I
Yeah. Yeah. As much
just
as
like
you wanted.
sit in a park and like do almost nothing.
Yeah.
And it was so the art of receiving other people's deep knowing of me,
Mm.
so invigorating. I called it my Renaissance because it was this like newborn energy of who I really was that I forgot because
Yeah.
I was putting out so much in my masculine that I wasn't even receiving. That art of receiving was not happening. And so this idea of balancing those two for me was such a big mental breakthrough because if I'm literally walking around all day, or I was lopsided,
Yeah.
like like a hunchback on this side.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I need to express, I need to flow, I need to be free, I need to create in a way that's not tied to a metric. And now it was like, oh, balance, balancing. And then I didn't feel bad about self-care or self-love because I was balancing. So it was like twisting the narrative for me helped me find that balance of the love and the worthiness for myself.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you, all of you, like Marissa and Destiny, Robin, Brenda, Dr. Alicia, Dana, Tracy, Teresa. This is beautiful. I mean, these shares are so real and authentic. It's amazing. It's gonna help so many people. But I completely relate to everything you just shared, Marissa. Even just feeling like if I want to take a bath, well, first I have to do the dish, clean up the whole kitchen to deserve to take the bath. And then it gets reinforced by our stories. And then it's like catching ourselves in those stories that Robin was talking about. I did have a story that no one wants to hang out with me where I live now. We left LA, we're in Camas, Washington. I had a story that no one here likes me and they're not like me and they don't understand me. And I'm like, well, when I started asking people to come to coffee at a certain place at a certain time, everyone's yes. So what the fuck am I talking about? I'm just making it up because I don't want to open my heart and get hurt. Yeah, go for it, Dana.
My daughter just started attending this little girls circle. She's 10, and they're starting to talk about moon time, right? And learning about moon time from this beautiful woman who used to sit in moontime huts. And as a native tradition, right, women used to sit in moontime huts and bead and pray and be together and just receive the time. And so she did this for 25 years herself. And she said every house that she had, she would have a moontime room at least. It was like a prerequisite. And her son would learn to serve her during her moontime. He would bring her meals and just know to like knock on the door and say, "Mommy, can I bring you your meal?" And this was her time to just receive and be in her space and journal and just rest and just receive and do this like contraction expansion ritual, right? Contraction expansion rhythm. And we had a mom circle before she talks to the girls about moontime, and we talked about this and taking our own moontime, and whether that's just taking a bath or taking a tea outside or just taking an hour and just starting to model that for our girls, that it's important to take this time for ourselves because that is our natural rhythm when we're on this moon time, to respect and honor this special sacred time to contract and take this time for ourselves. And it's like, look at people, we've done this for years, for generations, and we've stopped doing this, and then we're beating ourselves up that we have to have the kitchen clean before we take a bath, when it's so sacred to take this time. So, right, just as a group of us, like if we can agree to when we are on this moon time, or if we're not having a cycle traditionally, but follow the moon time and take that bath or take that walk or take that tea and model that for our community, for our family. Just say like, kitchen's dirty, I'm going to take a bath, and just start to set that boundary because it's so important. I never realized how important that was. And yeah, it's so important.
Thank you so much.
I have to, this is so brief, Siri, and it's Dana
Yeah.
and Siri together. I have to jump in and say, what a beautiful reframe in a very clinical way, both of you. Siri, you did it when Destiny talked about the vacuum cleaner, and the reframe that Siri came up with was like, your husband vacuums for you? And then the reframe that Dana came up with, which is like, oh, it's that time versus, oh, it is that time. It is that
Yes.
time, right? And like, which is something cognitive behavioral therapy. This is a clinical thing that is infused in your work. And I just appreciate the boss sisters that you have culling from various modalities to create a transformed life experience. So thank you. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
I think this is a perfect time. Thank you for that reflection, Robin, and bringing all the threads together. You're so good at that. To give a little closing poem, and also, I'll share the poem first. Okay. So there's something that I keep noticing as I listen to all of you. The level of experience. This isn't really a poem. The level of experience in this room is real. You can feel it in the way that you speak, in what you've lived, in what you have learned through your bodies, your work, your relationships. There's a refinement that happens over time, a kind of precision around energy, around truth, around what you're actually available for. And I hear that in each of you, in the way that you lead, in the way that you create, in the way that you guide others, and also in the way you're continuing to learn how to include yourselves in that same level of care. So there's a shift that happens here, and we're holding everything. Like literally, Teresa was talking about holding everything, the boxes the woman was holding, stops being the measure. And something more honest takes its place, something that has to do with discernment, with sustainability, with listening, with honoring. It feels very aligned with this season, things opening, growth that follows readiness, movement that comes from support. And I think there's something here about receiving that is really alive, receiving your own signals, receiving what your body is asking for, receiving the life that is actually here instead of the one that you've been trying to keep up with. It's not passive, it's relational, it requires attention. And it feels like that's what each of you is practicing in your own way. And there's a lot of power in that, and a lot of honesty, and a lot of life in it. So thank you all, listeners, for being here. Thank you all, panelists, for being here, for the depth of your presence, for the honesty, the lived wisdom that you brought into this space that has been incredibly meaningful to me, and I can tell to each of you. I want to share very simply, I have 2 spots left in my upcoming women's retreat on the Oregon coast in May 3rd to the 6th. Brenda referenced it. She was at the one last May. Same Airbnb. There's an in-house sauna. There's a hot tub on the deck. We can watch the sunset. We're going to do breathwork, Reiki. We're going to do these talks. We're going to have nourishing food with Destiny is our chef, who you've just been in circle with. So I'm very excited about Destiny being a part of this circle. And it is called the Authentic Creative Breathwork and Reiki by the Sea. It's a very intimate retreat for women who are super intimate, like the most intimate one I've done, for women who are craving exactly this kind of depth and this kind of care and restoration and this kind of real conversation. So if something in today resonated and you know you want more space for yourself in this season, I'm totally open to having a conversation with you about if this retreat is right for you. And if for some reason the timing of May 3rd to the 6th is like, nah, that doesn't work for me, there'll be more, but this is the one that's open for now. So ladies, thank you so much. I don't want to cut you off if there's something you're burning to share as we're closing here. We've got 5 minutes.
Thank you, Siri. Thank you for 5 minutes long.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for creating this space and bringing us all together. You always bring such amazing women together and then provide like the most beautiful opening before with the breath work. It's like such a treat. It's such a literally such a treat, Siri. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I'm
Well, thank you for rearranging everything so you
oh
could
yeah.
come today. I know it's not easy.
Well, thank Dave. Like Dave came home from retreat to take the
Thank you
kids.
to
I was like,
Dave.
please come home and take the kids so I could do
Oh,
this. Yes.
and thank you for everything that everyone so
Yeah.
bravely and generously shared. I learned just masses and masses. What a treasure
Mm.
trove. Destiny, chef's kiss on this group, right? Is that what you say? Is that a real thing, chef's kiss? I don't know. She's like,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of more of a Muppet thing, but sure.
fabulous. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Wow, that was so illuminating and elucidating what everyone shared and how courageously you all make me want to be braver and go deeper. Thank you.
Hmm.
Well, awesome. All of y'all should come to the retreat and let me feed you.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna have a great time. I'm so excited. It's perfect. I'm looking forward to it so much. All right, guys, love you, ladies, women, goddesses, love you so much. Thank you for being so brave. Thank you for the work that you do in the world. It's so important what each of you do, the way you show up for the people in your life, the way you show up for you. Thank you. I
Thanks.
appreciate you.
It's really
All right, guys, for those listening, keep expanding your capacity to feel good, one breath at a time, loving you. And we'll see you soon. Bye for now.